From the Korea Economic Institute in Washington, D.C., you're listening to Korean Kontext, news and analysis from the Korean Peninsula. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Korean Kontext, your go-to podcast for all things Korea. This week on the podcast, we're talking with two founders of the Korean startup SAY, which stands for Seniors and Youth. This is a really cool company that started in 2014 with the mission of helping young foreigners learn Korean by pairing them up with Korean seniors who are looking for a way to stay active and earn a little bit of money while they do it. SAY has won numerous startup awards since then, including the City Mayor of Seoul 2016 Award of Excellence, and has been recognized as a company with a social mission behind everything that they do. I hope you enjoy this interview, which was recorded when I was in Seoul this June. So first of all, I really want to thank you guys for sitting down with me and telling me about SAY. To get us started, could both of you please introduce yourselves and what your role is with the company?
Sure. Hi, my name is Yongmin Cho. I'm one of the co-founders of SAY, a Korean language service, and I am currently the director of U.S. operations.
And my name is Quan Nguyen. I am also one of the co-founders, and I am the CMO, Chief Marketing Officer for our company.
Okay, so can you give us a little bit of an introduction to SAY and how it works exactly? So, for example, say I'm an American who wants to learn Korean. How do I get started learning through SAY? What is the first step? How do I get paired with a teacher, etc.?
Sure. So if you are someone who's interested in learning Korean, we actually have a few steps. We really make it tailored to your learning needs. So you can start off by taking a free consultation with us, and we match you with a teacher based on the consultation. So if you are a beginner level learner and you need someone who is bilingual, we'll find you a teacher and match you with that person who can speak to you in both English and Korean. Or if you're just someone who really wants to learn more about Korean history, for example, we'll find a teacher that perhaps majored in history or has worked in that field for their profession. So we really try to make it very personalized. And after that, it's all online. So you log on to our website, you make an account. We have lessons based on different packages, and you just schedule the lessons anytime you want, and we match you with that teacher, and you have lessons with them.
And how did this company come about exactly? How did you guys decide to start SAY, and what was the inspiration behind deciding to employ seniors as the Korean teachers?
SAY started in the fall of 2014. Our company is different from other Korean language teaching services in that we have a social mission. It's a social enterprise that employs retired educators, retired Koreans in this country that's suffering from social issues due to the fast aging population. I started this actually as a nonprofit project. I was working at the time at a Korean senior welfare center and didn't really come in to work thinking that I would start a project or a company. But I realized that a lot of seniors here were lacking opportunities, meaningful jobs upon retiring. And a lot of them don't know what to do for the second half of their lifetime. And so I came up with the idea to connect the seniors here who speak great Korean and have talents and experiences with Korean learners overseas at my university. And what began as a weekly conversations between Korean learners from various backgrounds at an American college and retired educators here became labor of love and a company with the mission to create the largest community of Korean seniors and international Korean learners all over the world.
And how did you get involved?
Yeah, so I got involved very early at the start of SAY when it was just a project. I knew Yongmin through some mutual friends when I was a researcher here. And I've also been studying Korean for about a year or so when I first met Yongmin, and I realized that he was onto something because I've tried out so many different ways of learning, language exchange, learning through applications on your phone, watching Korean dramas, listening to music. But what struck me really about SAY was how unique the learning environment was. You're really having basically conversations. It's back to basics, to be honest. You're having conversations with someone who has more experience, but also a different perspective on life, having spent so many years living in Korea and going through, the whole history almost. It was really fascinating to learn from the seniors. And at that point, we never realized, we didn't know yet, we were still experimenting with just the idea of just connecting generations and cultures. But very soon after I became a student, I actually started as a student, not even as a co-founder. After just a few weeks of just learning from my teacher, I realized that, wow, if we can just polish up the program and make it more polished in the sense that we have a curriculum or we have even more content to teach students and we train the seniors to be real tutors, we could actually create a company. Namely because there's just so many learners around the world that need access to a tutor in order to speak Korean better. So that's kind of how I got started. I saw a lot of potential, namely because I love Korean. I love learning the language, and I just love, being able to speak with a native. So that was where, it all started for me.
So how have things been going so far? I'm really interested to know if you guys have any great accomplishments so far that you want to share, but then also on the flip side, have there been any roadblocks that you guys didn't anticipate when you started the company?
Yeah, over the past 3 years, we've experienced a lot of changes and a lot of achievements for sure. This is something that started with Yongmin and his idea to really help the seniors at his center. And over the years, we've encountered a lot of obstacles. How do you maintain a company that is not making money? We're just doing something out of our goodwill. How do you really sustain that out of our passion? And how do you eventually, overcome that roadblock? Because you can't sustain a company out of passion, for too long. You need to figure out how to, put a food on the table, and kind of like survive yourself. So over the years, we've managed to have a lot of good mentors and a lot of support from programs in Korea. The past year or so, we won a big grant from a private company that, sponsored us for our project. And we won first place at a major startup competition. So that was huge for us. And also we got the City Mayor Award of Excellence for our work. So, based on just a lot of support from the community and different organizations that understand that our company is doing good for society, we've been able to really, grow our idea and sustain operations.
Yeah, I second that as well. A big part of our experience has been trying to maintain the social mission of using the jobs that we create as tutors to create social impact, and also trying to cater to the demands and needs of the students that approach, say, with the purpose of, I want to learn, I want to speak Korean better. To do that, we partnered with the largest retiree training center / retiree community in Korea, run by the Seoul city government. But it's always been a challenge to work with educators who are talented but untrained, many of them who have teaching experience, but some of them don't, and a lot of them who don't speak English as their second language. But instead of turning to seasoned professionals who already teach Korean and just becoming a connector between tutors and students. We always try to make sure that the business that we do also creates impact by working strictly with the people that we want to serve, the retirees who are out there seeking to do meaningful things and have the talent that is valuable.
And we also, just to add to what Yongmin said, even despite the fact that some of our teachers may not be as fully trained as a real professional Korean tutor by trade, they spend a lot of hours even learning Korean themselves. And we also train them with our own curriculum. We design a training course with our professor from Yonsei. And through this program, we make sure they understand the foundations of Korean, how to talk with people with different cultures. And we actually help them go through a training period where they get to actually experience teaching students before they actually become official tutors. So we really emphasize the quality of our tutors as well.
Yeah, I think that's really key. I know when I came to Korea to teach English, I learned very quickly that it's a different thing to speak English than to teach it. You know, you would think in a way that, oh, I speak English natively, of course I can teach it, but it's a lot more complicated than that, so I totally understand. And that actually leads well into my next question, which is, I can imagine that not only is there this language or culture gap between the American students and the Korean teachers, but there's also a generational gap, I can imagine. Do you find that to be the case? And are there any fun stories that you can share of overcoming some of those gaps?
Well, having been a student myself, I can speak on that. I think that certainly there is a generation gap. You can't ignore the fact that we have someone much younger than the teacher. But it just goes to show you that's why a program like us need to exist, because there are these stereotypes in the world where, you know, ageism exists and people have this preconception that old people are boring or they're very lazy or they don't understand the young people or may just be completely ignorant about what young people go through. But that's definitely not the case, especially with our experiences with our teachers. All of them are very lively. They have actually so much energy to do things. They don't want to stay still. They really want to interact with young people. You know, they use phones and, you know, they'll play games on their phones and they're so good at technology. For instance, like one of my teacher, when she used to teach me, she would actually come in one day, and because I had the luxury of living in Korea, we were able to meet up as well. So she came in and she basically showed off her latest smartwatch to me, and she was just bragging about how awesome it was. So I thought that was really, really neat, because someone like her, who's like in her 80s, just walking around with like the latest technology today, it was just so hilarious to see that juxtaposition. So I had a great time learning from her and just understanding on a human level that we're very similar, despite the language barrier or the age differences. And I think Yongmin, having started this, I think he can speak even more, because I think it came from a deeper place for him, because he's also native Korean as well. Perhaps I think Yongmin can speak more on that.
Yeah, I think what really motivated me to take this a step further were the moments during the conversations where you saw not only the seniors who are the tutors making an effort to empathize with the younger and from their perspective, these students who are so smart and passionate, but from a totally different cultural background. But also the other way around, where the students were asking them about how it was to grow up in a Korea that wasn't developed as the Korea that we know today, the Korea in the 1950s, the Korea during the war, and the Korea during the economic development period as well. Stories about when they were in their 20s and trying to really make a living, and a lot of them who had to carry the burden of making the money and the family, especially the men. A lot of the feedback that I got was from students who heard about these memories that the seniors had, inspired them in a way to really be thankful, but also inspire them to work harder and think more about the older generation of Korea today.
Just out of curiosity, how do the students usually get interested in learning Korean? Is it kind of a mix of different things, or?
Yeah, it's definitely a big mix. I mean, for our university students, a lot of them came from this love in K-pop, Korean culture, Korean drama, some sort of like just interest in Korean culture. And I think that translated into just learning the language, because naturally, if you want to understand the culture better, you probably want to learn the language as well. Some of them are actually Korean majors, so they actually want to study Korean for their own education. And then, our other students outside of our university programs, they are actually learning Korean for work. It's because they do it, they either work for a Korean company or they are working even in Korea, like not even outside Korea, but just in Korea. They want to learn Korean. Another interesting group of people that we've worked with are English teachers. They're expats in Korea, teach English, and just want to speak the Korean language better. They already learned it for maybe a couple of years, but they just haven't really found time or the right program to learn Korean through, to speak Korean better. So it's like you get a good group of like so many different slices of people. Like another fun one was Korean spouses of Korean people. We have one student, she's Japanese, and she's married to a Korean guy and lives in the States. So she joined our program because she just wanted to speak better with his family. So yeah, we work with all sorts of students.
All right, so what is the goal for you guys and this organization moving forward?
Definitely, this is the first time that we've actually opened up our program to the rest of the world. We want to make sure that it becomes the best Korean learning platform, especially for people who want to improve their speaking. And we hope to expand to many more countries. The goal is to really provide the service to anyone, actually, that either loves learning new languages or really need this to improve, aspects of their life, whether they need it for work or whether they need it to get a better education. That's our goal. And on top of that, continue to improve the lives of the Korean seniors here, provide more jobs for them, and connect them with the younger generation.
All right, great. It's a really interesting concept. I'm really fascinated by the fact that you're putting together two very different components that you wouldn't necessarily think about together, learning Korean and then the social mission of helping seniors at the same time. So it's really cool to see those two things working together here. Before we go, do you have any closing thoughts or anything you want to leave us with?
Yongmin, you can talk about how students can sign up and they get like a free trial.
So as Quan said, our service is for anybody out there that wants to learn Korean by interacting with a native Korean tutor for a very affordable price, from the comfort of your home and with the flexibility of a video chat, as opposed to actually coming somewhere and meeting them, which you really can't do if you're overseas. You can come to our website, www.sayspeaking.com, and browse for your courses. Right now, we are providing free trial lessons along with a level test so that you can get a taste for how the lessons go and whether or not our curriculum and our service is right for you. And once you sign up, we will provide you with that free lesson. And from the comfort of your home, you can take your class on any day of the week, and we will personally pair you up with someone that fits your interests. So that's the thing that we're promoting right now. I think will give biggest value to the Korean learners out there. Quan, anything else?
And yeah, I think, if you are listening to this, I think it's also great to share with your friends as well about our program. I think that, not many people right now know about SAY. We're very new, but we've had 3 years track record working with university students. And currently we're providing services to a lot of different people here in Korea as well. You're talking about people who are working for major Korean companies, and also English expat teachers here in Korea. So if you're living in any part of the States where there's lack of access to a native Korean, definitely check out our program, talk to your friend about us. We'd love to help you on your journey to speak Korean like a native.
Okay, I want to thank you both again for taking the time and for introducing all of us to SAY.
Thank you, Jenna.
Thank you so much, Jenna.
Thanks everyone for tuning in once again for Korean Kontext. I hope you enjoyed this great interview. Please be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and keep an eye out for a great new episode next week.